what's your perfect monster?
My perfect monster?
You heard what I said.
My perfect monster is something that's terrifying and has lots of teeth and like blood dripping off of them.
A gingivitis monster.
Yes.
Something devouring.
Yes.
At the Creating the Perfect Monster panel, there were a lot of ideas similar to that, but a lot of other ideas were explored.
Yes.
The idea that man is the real monster, dumb, although that did come up.
Yeah.
Many things were sort of...
Leave my monster alone, you horrible monster.
Right. The idea that, was it Shauna Maguire that came up with that thing that, leave sharks alone. They don't care. Here's a monster that, sure, sometimes monsters, like the monsters in Critters, are just hungry.
Yeah.
They don't have an agenda. They don't want to hurt you. They're not the Babadook. They don't have they don't want to change how you feel about things or show you that you're the real monster.
Right.
They just want a hamburger. And you're the hamburger.
Right.
And so, I agree. The teeth thing is scary, but I like I don't know. My favorite monster is kind of goes off the Critters thing, just a hungry animal. But I like implacability. I like a monster that you can't reason with, like the Terminator. They didn't talk about that one, but he's a monster.
Sure.
Can't be reasoned with, can't be bargained with, absolutely will not stop until you are dead.
Well, what about the Thing in The Thing?
They brought up the Thing, and something I liked about the Thing is that they brought that up in the context of how it's a sci-fi monster, but yet it has fantastical elements. But it's internally consistent with itself, which is a point that the panel made, that it obeys its own rules, even though it is sort of in the wrong movie. It's in a sci-fi, like 50s horror movie, basically, remade from a 50s horror movie, and it's fantastical, but it still kind of obeys its own, it is devouring things. It might have spider legs come out of a head, but it's doing it for one reason, which is to survive.
I suppose.
Yeah. And that's, I think survival, that's a popular way to go with monsters. Like we said. And then I know Shauna Maguire doesn't like demonizing sharks, but it's survival. That's the animal kingdoms thing.
That's true.
That is one panel that we went to today.
Yes.
We went to a lot of panels today.
We went to so many
panels today. It's the Just Enough Trope podcast. I'm your host, Calaman, joined as always by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Mikan Hana.
At day 2 of CONvergence 2017. Yeah, good day.
Yeah.
Got a lot of business done.
Yes, we did.
Businessed it out. I was on a couple panels.
Yes, you were.
Help me remember. The odd-numbered Star Trek curse.
Yes.
Yes, where we talked about why it's generally known that the odd-numbered Star Trek films are not the good ones.
No.
And then at some point, that sort of twists and flips over, and now the odd ones are the bad ones.
Right.
And the point of the panel, which I thought was interesting, was to defend them. We're not going to just dump on the odd-numbered films. Let's bring out good stuff. Let's talk about why maybe you didn't think it was the best, but it still has resonance. It's still something that you'd want to check out.
Right.
Now, having seen all the Star Trek films yourself, did you agree with our points?
I agreed with most of them. It's hard for me to remember all the films and everything.
Can you make a case for Star Trek V? Go.
No, because Star Trek V is just...
Captain, life is not a dream. We're on vacation. You can call me Jim. Who doesn't love that?
Well,
I'd watch an entire movie that's just Spock, Kirk, and McCoy's camping trip.
I would watch that too, but that's not the movie that we got.
Here's the conflict. They run out of marshmallows.
That is a
now
conflict.
What?
That is a huge conflict.
Solve. Right. That's the monster is hunger.
That's right.
The monster is a lack of graham crackers and chocolate. That's what they have to face up to. Another panel. It was pretty much all Star Trek panels.
Yes.
I actually modded a Star Trek retrospective panel.
Yes.
Which I was fairly excited to do. Here's the panel description. Let's celebrate for 2 years of Star Trek.
Yes.
Thanks.
Let's.
A lot of structure there. Thank you,
do that.
person who suggested that panel. But I think it turned out okay. We had
think so,
Bridget
too.
Landry, who we talked to yesterday, JPL scientist, Tracy Lee Coco, who had appeared on Star Trek: The Next Generation, Voyager,
Yep.
Deep Space Nine as well, as in some of the feature films. And one of her fans made like a highlight reel of her appearances on Star Trek and in the films, the TNG films as well, which was fantastic.
It was awesome.
Because a lot of it was just the back of her head. you know?
Yes.
Or Riker walks into 10 forward, and then like, whoop, there goes the flat top. And like, that's her. Yeah. And you and I know because we've been watching the show, TNG, front to back. Once I became aware of her as a background performer or a foreground performer, she's in the front of a lot of those shots.
Yes.
She's everywhere.
She really is.
She's really all over that thing. We're
Well-
going to interview her tomorrow or maybe Sunday, and I have a million questions for her. I did ask her on the panel what was really going on with her and Captain Picard during Data's poetry reading, and she's a little cagey.
Yeah.
So we're going to double down. We're going to get back in there. What sort of stories? Because you've been an actress. You've been on a set where you don't necessarily have one of the main parts, and you make stories for yourself.
Oh, sure.
You have to.
Absolutely.
For your craft, but also just to keep yourself sane. And so I just wonder what, the quote-unquote extras, like what was happening there. Like they're like, well, in this scene, I'm scanning gaseous anomalies, and it's super important.
Right.
Because my father was a gaseous scientist. He studied all kinds of gas.
And I don't want to let him down.
I'm trying to make him proud.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing right now, yeah. What else?
Let's see, what else?
Oh, well, duh.
Enterprising
we did the,
Individuals.
Enterprising Individuals live panel, yes, where we
Yes.
talked about The Wrath of Khan, Star Trek II. I think it went pretty good.
Yes.
Every single one of those guests was somebody who I hope will agree to be on the show later, either Just Enough Trope this show or Enterprising Individuals, because they all had a ton to say. They are super talented. They're the perfect people to have on that panel because they all had opinions.
Yes.
Even somebody like Naomi Kritzer, who is super creative and super productive, who is a Trek fan, but admittedly had not watched the film since the 80s. And then she's like, I went back and watched it like a week ago, and I got a bunch of ideas, and she brought them to the panel.
Yes.
And I thought it was really great. The one detraction is miscalculation on the phone battery, and our Facebook live feed died.
That's right.
Right before the end. So
Yeah.
if you go back to Facebook, facebook.com/enterprising individuals, or actually /EISD pod, you can watch our live stream of the panel. You don't miss anything. You miss the wrap up, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, I tell some people to go read Greg Cox's books about Khan, and I also told them to go to an earworm party
Yes.
that our friend of ours is hosting here at the con. And so that's it. But otherwise, yeah, great show, great discussions, some generally big love for Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, but also, some tough talk.
There was a lot of tough talk. I was kind of surprised
Oh.
at how much tough talk there was.
How about how much there was?
Yeah. Well, Bill really didn't seem to like it that much.
No, and he brought that up at the very end. He's like, oh, the Spock scene, so great. Oh, I love how Kirk and McCoy and Spock are interacting. Bill, what'd you think? I don't like it. What?
He said he didn't think it held up over time.
Right, and Patrick said something like that, too. Like, he thought that the pacing is, in terms of like how a modern film or a modern audience would expect the show to go, was not quite on point. And I don't know. I don't agree. We need to find some young kids here at the con. We'll sit them down, make them watch Star Trek 2, and see what they think.
Okay.
I think that they might not enjoy it because, as we discussed at the panel, the themes are more adult. And I don't mean like Kirk and the Green Woman adult. I mean like contemplating things that young people don't understand. Mortality.
Right.
Fearing that you're not invincible, that you can fail.
Right.
And being obsessed with that. Your legacy, if you will. But other than that, there's hot lines, there's things crawling on dudes' ears, and there's like ship battles, and like he tasks me and I shall have him. Like, what's this guy doing? I think that would appeal to anybody.
Sure.
What do you think?
I think it would appeal to just about anybody too, but at the same time, I really like this film, so it's hard for me
it's hard to be objective.
Unbiased.
Yeah, and that's why it was great to have a panel of 4 people coming from all different places, and yet smart cookies, a jar full of smart cookies, who all had stuff to say. What else?
We went to the Klingon Christmas Carol panel.
Yes, we did. How do you do a play in Klingon? Who do you talk to about Klingon or in Klingon?
Well, apparently you have to learn the language first. So,
and it was really interesting. There was a Klingon language lesson.
Yes.
They talked about adapting a show, which is a classic Victorian show or story,
yes.
A Christmas Carol, to modern audiences, but also alien audiences or an alien sensibility.
Right.
And the fact that in Dickens's novella, you're trying to get this guy to realize charity's good, but in this, you're trying to get a guy to realize it's good to go out there and have glory and put it all on the line.
Right.
And have honor and keep your word and that sort of thing. Just what a Klingon would want.
Right.
Worf would approve.
Yes. Worf's stamp of approval.
Yes. I think that they should do something, maybe an extended universe thing or a web video. Let's backfill, let's retcon Klingon Christmas Carol into TNG. I want to see one of those. Do you think it was weird that they were doing all those plays on the Enterprise?
Well,
Crusher, Beverly, was your minor theater at Starfleet Academy? Because you're always like, we can replicate some costumes and put on a play.
Yes.
Don't you have, patience? Isn't there somebody with some...
They must get bored.
Wasting disease? Some Centaurian fever in the sick bay that you got to take care of? No. You got to be off book. Got to be off book by start date.
Universe is not enough.
Yeah, exactly. But I would like to see that. I'd like to see Worf either watch it or be in it and be like,
Kapla!
It is acceptable. Yes. Scrooge learned his lesson.
Yes.
And he got his honor, and he should die soon after, because that's how all these stories end.
Yes.
Every Klingon story, Klingon fairy tales, nursery rhymes have to end with everybody dying, right?
Clearly.
Yeah, I think they have to. What are we doing tomorrow?
What are we doing tomorrow? We have our fan table tomorrow.
Absolutely.
From
tomorrow and Sunday.
12:30 to 5, I believe.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Where we will be there.
Yeah, we'll be there to discuss people or talk with people. We'll also be there to do some recording. We're going to have some people
we're
going to interview. We're going to interview Tracy Lee Coco, Naomi Kritzer, Lyda Morehouse,
Melissa F.
Olsen, possibly Chris Carter. We'll see. A couple people, guests of honor, and also invited participants from the con.
Yes.
I got a lot of prizes in this box.
Yeah,
Who's going to get them?
We're giving away prizes as well.
Some great prizes. A selection of nerdy mugs. First of all, a Star Wars mug, Star Trek mug, Wonder Woman mug, and a Ghostbusters mug.
That's right.
Yeah. And you can come by the table. You can sign up for free to enter into a drawing for each one of the mugs. Also, if you sign up for the drawing for the mugs, you are entered automatically into a drawing for a Rick and Morty Monopoly set.
That's right.
Can you imagine that this is real?
I cannot.
A portal opened, and out of it came a game from a universe where a Rick and Morty Monopoly game is real. Bet everything I have. Bet my right arm on the fact that the money is probably schmeckles.
You think so?
I'm just guessing it's schmeckles.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it is. What do you think the railroads are? Because I have not opened it. I haven't looked at it.
Oh, wow. I have no idea.
What are 4 things that you could do? Maybe it's 4 different interdimensional cable channels.
Oh, I like that
idea. So you
idea.
can buy the cooking show / news broadcast where the guy is just like 2 ends of a worm.
Sure.
You can do that. One of them is Turbulent Juice.
Okay.
For sure. Cassette cells. And then probably like gophers living in people's butts.
Okay.
I think that's a popular one.
That sounds like it.
Yeah. I think that's probably it, right?
Yeah.
We've done a good job for today.
Yeah, I think so.
There's other panels, there's other things that we're going to be doing tomorrow, but we will keep you posted on that. You can hear about those if you tune into the show. Tomorrow night, God, I don't know, This is Saturday? It's Saturday. It's Friday today.
Yeah, it's Friday today.
In the meantime, you can find us on Facebook and Twitter at Just Enough Trope. Search for that on Facebook and Twitter. Go to iTunes, search for Just Enough Trope. You can find our show page. When you get there, subscribe to the show, because that way you're going to get all the updates from Con. You're going to find out what was happening and what was going on. If you go to iTunes, I'd appreciate it if you give us a rating and review, because that's how shows like ours move forward. We can reach more people, and we can give more to you. So give us 5 stars. We really love that. Boy, we got parties. We got things to do. We're going to the Earworm Room.
Yeah.
What do you think the earworm that's playing right now is?
Oh, boy. Probably something from T-Swift.
Do they get really... Well, we'll know. We'll tell you tomorrow. But do they get really insidious, do you think? Is it like Little Red Corvette? That could stay in my head for days.
Sure.
But the real earworms are the Fridays, for example.
Yes.
The Rebecca Blacks.
Yeah, absolutely.
The things that hook into you, like Seti Eel going into Chekhov's ear. And he goes... Legendary screamer, that man. God bless him. But anyway, yes, we'll pick this up tomorrow, and we'll talk to you then. I'm your host, Caliban.
I'm your co-host, Mikan Hana.
Keep the geek fires burning.